the notes I write in manuscript margins is always sitting next to the dialogue. Nobody talks like this. Here is what earns it. Hello, Marcus, Elena said nervously. Hello, Elena. How are you doing today? I'm fine, Marcus. As you know, Mom left us this house 3 years ago after the accident. Yes, I know, Elena, he said angrily. I really don't think we should sell it. I really don't think we should sell it either, she agreed, nodding. 5 lines, 6 red flags. I have been a book editor for 5 years and work across fiction and nonfiction. And writers are not bad at dialogue. The tells are just invisible from the inside, which is why it's the same 6 every time. So we are going to take that scene apart. The 6 red flags, what each one actually signals to the reader, and the fix. At the end, I will read you the same scene with all 6 repaired and give you one test that catches every single one of them in your own manuscript. A reader can skim past a clunky description. Nobody skims a conversation, even if it sounds fake. Red flag 1. Characters keep saying each other's names. In 5 lines of that scene, Marcus is spoken twice and Elena is spoken twice. 2 people alone in a room who know each other. You're worried the reader will lose track of who's talking, but listen to how people actually talk. You almost never say the name of the person you're already talking to. When you do, it means something. It means you are angry or pleading or about to say something serious. So, before. Yes, I know, Elena. After. I know. Nothing was lost. And now the name can be used as a tool later when you really need it to communicate something. If Marcus says Elena 40 pages later, it lands because he has not said it once until then. And if the reader genuinely cannot track who is speaking, the answer is an action beat. Give one of them something to do with their hands. Red flag 2. Everyone sounds the same. Now, let's talk about the last 2 lines of that scene. I really don't think we should sell it. I really don't think we should sell it either. 2 characters, 1 voice. This happens because both of them are being written by you and you have 1 speech pattern. Under deadline, everybody defaults to the author's rhythm. Here is the test. Delete every dialogue tag and every name from 1 page of your manuscript. Hand it to somebody. Can they tell who's speaking? If they can't, you do not have 2 characters. You have 1 character in 2 chairs. And the fix is sentence length and hedging and what each person refuses to say. Before, I really don't think that's a good idea. I really don't think that's a good idea either. After, that's a bad idea. Maybe, yeah, I don't know if now is the right time. Same position on the surface. 2 completely different people. One of them is certain and short. The other qualifies everything and cannot commit to a sentence. Pick 2 or 3 verbal habits per major character and stay consistent. Ask yourself, does this character ask questions or make statements? Some people run an entire conversation without ever committing to a declarative sentence. Do they use contractions? I do not think so, and I don't know, are the same information with 2 different upbringings. So, what do they do when they are uncomfortable? 1 character gets shorter, 1 gets longer and starts over-explaining. 1 asks you something about yourself. Answer those for your main characters before you draft the next scene. It takes 10 minutes and will do more for your dialogue than any other single thing on this list. Red flag 3. Characters explain things they both already know. As you know, Mom left us this house 3 years ago after the accident. Elena is telling her brother about their own mother. He was there. You do this because you need the reader to know something, and dialogue feels like a friendlier delivery method than narration. And the moment a character explains something to somebody who already knows it, the reader understands that the character is talking to them, not to the other person in the room. The wall comes down. So let the information arrive through conflict instead of through summary. People do not recite shared history. They argue about it. Before, as you know, Mom left us this house 3 years ago after the accident. After, it's been 3 years. It was 3 years in March. You didn't call. The reader gets the same 2 facts. Mom is dead. It happened 3 years ago. But now they get a grievance and the actual reason this conversation is tense in addition to the event and the timeline. 4 jobs, 2 lines, and nobody explained anything. Red flag 4. Everybody answers the question. Marcus asks, how are you doing today? And Elena says, I'm fine. Question, answer, question, answer. Perfectly cooperative. That is how we are taught conversation works, and dodging feels like you're withholding from the reader. But in real conversation, people deflect constantly. They answer a different question. They change the subject. They go quiet and pick up a mug. Every one of those tells the reader more than a direct answer would. Before, how are you doing today? I'm fine, Marcus. As you know, Mom left us this house 3 years ago after the accident. After, how are you doing today? I'd be better if you'd left your shoes at the door. Mom always hated that. In the second version, Elena doesn't answer the question directly. She makes a dig at Marcus and introduces the flow into the next topic. It makes the reader do the work. learning something about the characters almost as if by accident, and readers love doing the work. And don't forget, silence counts as an answer. You are allowed to have a character say nothing at all. "Are you upset with me?" he asked. She refilled the mug she had not finished. That is a full response. The reader hears it as a yes, and they hear it even louder than if she had said yes. One caution here, do not make every single line evasive, or the scene turns into two people fencing in the fog. Direct answers are the contrast that makes the dodges land. If your characters have deflected 3 times in a row, let the next one land straight. Red flag 5. The tags are doing the acting. Elena said nervously. He said angrily. She agreed, nodding. This happens because you can feel that the line is not carrying the emotion, so you bolt the emotion onto the tag. The tag is a patch. If you have to tell me how it was said, the line might not be doing its job yet. First, look at the line to see if it needs fixing. Then, consider what action or actions the character might be doing in this moment that also communicates emotion. Always check these 2 things before going straight to the tag. Before, "Hello, Marcus," Elena said nervously. After, "Hello, Marcus," Elena fidgeted with her sleeves and looked away. Nobody said nervously. Everybody already knows. Now, on said itself. Said is invisible. Readers do not register it, which is exactly what you want. The moment you reach for exclaimed, retorted, interjected, or hissed, the reader notices the writing instead of the scene. Use said. Use asked. It's okay. And third option nobody uses enough is no tag at all. This doubles if your action beat already carries the attribution. Before, "I really don't think we should sell it either," she agreed, nodding. After, Elena nodded. "I really don't think we should sell it either." And now you have body language and a beat of silence. Red flag 6. Nobody in the scene wants anything. This is the one underneath the other 5. Look at what actually happens in that original scene. 2 people agree with each other politely for 5 lines. It happens because you know what that scene needs to accomplish plot-wise, and you write the characters getting there efficiently. Agreement is efficient, but here's what it costs you. A dialogue scene where both characters want the same thing, it's an announcement. The reader feels it as slow, even though nothing about the pacing is technically wrong. So, before you write any conversation, answer this one question. What does each character want out of this specific exchange? Elena wants permission to sell the house. Marcus wants her to admit she has already decided. Neither of them will say it because saying it starts the fight. Now, every line has pressure behind it, and you didn't change the plot at all. Same scene, same outcome, the characters just stopped cooperating. Once Elena wants something Marcus will not give her, she stops explaining their family history because she's not making a case. She's managing him. She stops agreeing with him because agreement loses. She stops answering directly because a direct answer commits her. And you stop needing adverbs because the tension is built in. 5 surface problems, 1 cause. The scene fixed. Here is the same conversation with all 6 repaired. "Hi," Elena fidgeted with her sleeves and looked away. "How are you doing today?" Marcus glanced around the kitchen he'd grown up in. "I'd be better if you'd left your shoes at the door. Mom always hated that." "You called a realtor." "It's been 3 years, Marcus." "It was 3 years in March. You didn't call." She refilled the mug she had not finished. "That's a bad idea." "Maybe. Yeah. I don't know if now is the right time." Nobody said each other's names more than once, and it was used for emphasis. You can hear 2 distinct voices. No history recited, 2 direct questions dodged, no adverbs, and both of them want something the other does not want to give. The information provided is richer because it gives the reader context in the details rather than the characters explicitly telling the reader what they should get from the conversation. One thing before the recap, because there's something I want to show you that you can actually do tonight. Run your dialogue through text-to-speech and listen to it. Nearly every device you own has this built in. Here is what to listen for in this order. Names, because robotic voice will make you flinch every time one shows up. Rhythm, because if both characters have the same sentence length, you will hear it immediately, even though you cannot see it. And adverbs, because you can hear overuse better than you can see it on a page. Your eye has read those pages 40 times, and it has stopped seeing the individual words. Your ear has not. That gap is the whole reason this works. So, 6 red flags. 1, characters saying each other's names. Cut them. Save the names for when it means something. 2, everyone sounding the same. Delete the tags and see if anyone can tell them apart. 3, characters explaining shared history. Let it come out in an argument instead. 4, everybody answering the question. Let them dodge sometimes and let them go quiet too. 5, adverbs in the tags. Fix the line or consider adding an action before automatically adding an adverb to the tag. 6, nobody wanting anything. Give each character a goal. Bonus points if the other one blocks it. 5 5 of those are surface fixes you can do in an afternoon. The 6th one is more about craft, and that can fix the other 5 on its own. I post one of these videos every week and talk all about writing and editing. If that's useful to you, subscribe and come hang out. And if red flag 5 bothered you, good. In a recent video, I defended adverbs and meant it. The distinction is that an adverb propping up a weak line is a patch, and an adverb carrying something no verb can carry is precision. That video is on 4 rules like that one, and it's on screen now. See you next week.